Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Young Thug and this YSL RICO case. So you got two things going on. It looks like jury selection has started, and you've also got a situation that took place earlier today where it looks like somebody from the YSL side, and I'm talking about one of Young Thug's co-defendants, allegedly got into a scuffle while being transported to court today. Now, this is a crazy story, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to like when it goes down, but do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's do this, man. Let's actually go to the story that's making all the headlines right now. Okay, so you see here, this is the headline that's making all the news today. So Young Thug YSL trial underway as lawyers challenge use of rap lyrics in the RICO. Now, there's only a couple things I want to point out of this article, right? And the big point about this is the fact that they're going to be using his rap lyrics and his social media posts so heavily in this case. It almost seems a little too much, and somebody is actually going to make that point. So the story starts off by saying this. It says jury selection is underway in the YSL RICO trial in Atlanta, where Grammy Award-winning rap artist Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, is accused of leading the group described by authorities as a violent street gang. According to the 88-page grand jury indictment, the songwriter is facing 8 counts, including conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, aka the RICO Act, and participation in criminal street gang activity and violating the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Now, these things we know, right? Young Thug is basically on the hook for 8 charges out of this indictment, man. And there's so many different charges spread throughout this indictment that you got some people are being accused of murder. Some people, their charges were just being a part of the gang, being a part of the RICO. Like that was literally their charge. So Gunna being one of those people, right? Now we know the district attorney, Fannie Willis, she's been on the prowl for anybody involved in the music industry and involved in any type of gangs, right? It looks like she's got several RICO cases that are going down right now. And in this article, they touched on a couple of things. And they say this. They said Willis and the prosecution claim that Williams used his songs and social media to promote YSL, which he allegedly founded in 2021, and participated in violent activity throughout the city. Now, I don't know if Young Thug did anything personally that was violent. You know, they're saying that he rented a vehicle that was used during the shooting that took place back in 2015 or 2016, where Big Nut, which is YFN Lucci's homeboy, ended up getting killed and pretty much sparked the whole war, the whole situation between them, right? Now, in this article, they also mentioned Gunna. So they talk about this. They said in the indictment also includes charges against 26 other defendants like Sergio Gunna Kitchens, a rapper who recently pleaded guilty to a gang-related charge and was released from jail in December. So basically talking about the fact that Gunna took his Alfred plea deal. But what's even crazier is Gunna, according to this article, claimed to be a member. Obviously, we saw him saying yes ma'am in court. But they're also saying this. They're saying Gunna claims he joined YSL in 2016, according to a statement he released through his lawyer, and believed it was a group of people from Metro Atlanta who had common interests and artistic aspirations. My focus of YSL was entertainment, rap artists who wrote and performed music that exaggerated and glorified urban life in the Black community. So basically saying that everything that they said in their music was an exaggeration and glorified urban life. Now that's opposed to what he said when he did his plea deal. Because remember, they read out everything to him in his plea deal, and he pretty much agreed that YSL was a gang.
Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
Which a lot of people feel made things a lot tougher for Young Thug. Now, let me continue through the story. It says, Chris Timmons, a former Georgia prosecutor who isn't part of the YSL case, told Yahoo News the RICO and Gang Act indictment gives the prosecution the ability to present the case as a narrative to the jury. Now, in quotes, he goes on by saying this. He says, Atlanta is unique in that most of our gangs are hybrid gangs, which in some ways makes them a little more dangerous, Timmons said. They don't have territories like Los Angeles where you've got the Crips and the Bloods, and there's defined zones as to what is a Crip territory or what is a Blood territory. There aren't territories in Atlanta. They more sort of coexist amongst each other. According to Willis, gangs are responsible for 75 to 85% of all violent crime. And everybody's seen that viral video so far.
My number one focus is targeting gangs. And there's a reason for that. They are committing conservatively 75 to 80% of all of the violent crime that we are seeing within our community.
She says that, it's because of gangs that the crime rate is pretty much so high. She feels like if she gets rid of gangs, she can help clean up the streets. Now, this is another interesting point. It says, in quotes here, the initial indictment contained very few factual allegations about activity that Mr. Williams was accused of doing. Jack Lerner, a law professor at University of California, Irvine, told Yahoo News. The vast majority of factual allegations about him involved his social media postings and lyrics. So I think that's the lesson from this, man. Now that they're going through jury selection and they've been talking to people left and right, trying to get an understanding of what's going to go down in this situation, I think that the big takeaway is that, your lyrics are going to be used in certain states in certain situations. So it's best just to keep anything real about them lyrics. And besides that being the biggest lesson, I also want to talk about this other story that just came out maybe an hour ago. Not even that, man. This is fresh out of the trial. So there was an incident that took place in court today. It looks like one of the Young Thug's co-defendants ended up getting into a scuffle with one of the deputies. Now, for those of you who don't know, usually the sheriff's office is over the local jail, the county jail, right? And the deputies usually do the transport of anybody from the county jail to court. And it looks like somebody who's actually one of the YSL co-defendants has been getting into it with the guards or something like that, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported it as a scuffle, that they got into a scuffle with one of the guards. So, man, let's actually take a look at that story real quick, right? Okay, so as you see right here, according to the local news there in Atlanta, it says this in the headline. It says, lawyer accuses deputy of assaulting defendant in YSL case. Sheriff says he spat in the deputy's face. Man, that's crazy. So the story goes on to say this. It says, Fulton County, Georgia, an attorney for another defendant standing trial in the gang indictment against Atlanta rapper Young Thug and several others is accusing a deputy of assaulting her client. So basically the lawyer is going on the person's behalf and saying, hey man, one of the deputies assaulted my client. So she's trying to put in a complaint. Now other outlets are reporting that it was a scuffle. So let's continue with the story. Channel 2's Michael Seaton was at the Fulton County Courthouse Monday, where he talked with Sheriff Pat Labatt, who said the defendant has been an ongoing problem and has refused to listen to deputies. So basically, the guy who's been reporting on all of this stuff locally there, he let it be known and went to the sheriff to ask about this situation where you have an attorney saying that her client had got assaulted by one of the deputies. Now, the sheriff came back and said, basically, nah, this dude has been a problem. Now, Labatt, who represents the sheriff's office, said that this morning, while he was waiting to be transported from the jail to the courthouse, he started spitting on the floor of the van and then eventually in the deputy's face. Now, his lawyer said he is preparing to file a complaint against the Fulton County Sheriff's Office and claiming that her client was assaulted. Now, this is me just thinking, man, my just regular brain just thinking, I don't know if this makes the situation better for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's already having issues. Filing a complaint, I don't know if that helps, man, but let's see, man. Let's check out the rest of the story. Now, it says this is the second lawyer defending alleged members of the criminal street gang Young Thug to claim deputies assaulted defendants. And it continued by going on and saying this. It says last week, a lawyer representing Khalif Adams said a deputy tased him to the point he had to go to the hospital after Adams allegedly passed Young Thug a Percocet in the courtroom during jury selection. Now, that was the major headline to come out of the case last week. That, Young Thug and this guy, Khalif Adams, did a hand-to-hand deal right in front of the court where he gave Young Thug a pill of Percocet, and allegedly they were caught right on the spot. The deputy saw it, pulled him off to the side, and he's saying that he had been tased to the point where he had to go to the hospital. Other reports was that he swallowed something and they had to take him to a hospital in order to save his life. Now, to be real, I don't know if we're going to get more crazy stories coming out of this YSL RICO indictment, but I'm pretty sure we will, because it has been nothing but a circus so far. And I mean circus by the fact that it has been highly entertaining. But what do you guys think about this, man? You have one lawyer saying that her client got assaulted, and you have some reports saying that it was a scuffle. So what do you guys think that happened? Maybe tempers were up and something went down, or is it a possibility that we'll probably never know what really went down in this situation? Now with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.